Hello folks, I live on the side of a hill, and on the top of that hill are some interesting things. One of those things is Fort Dobbs. When I first got here, they were just kind of constructing the fort. They had got a spot where they wanted to put it, and they decided to put it up. 2 years, they have rebuilt the entire fort for Fort Dobbs. And in it, they even have a restroom facility. And there's a bathroom, and there's even a shower in there. There's men's bathrooms, women's bathrooms, family bathrooms, and a shower, which is kind of interesting. But let's walk in and see what we've got on the rest of the area. This is a state historical site, and like any state facility, they've got your basic park-like stuff. They've got a picnic pavilion, which is really nice. I believe that has bathrooms in it too, and a playground, and they got a lot of firewood around here as they get the place ready. This is brand new, as you can see, brand new sidewalk and grass area. They've got that's a garden up there that replicates what this fort had in the days, and there are little kiosks of information along the trail. Site of Fort Dobbs. Governor Arthur Dobbs is named after in the 2007 rendering of the fort, and the original map of where to build it. They have demonstrations here. They have some workshops and demonstrations and volunteer actors that show, you know, how people lived in the old days. People love to reenact that stuff. Around the fort, there are various buildings that have been reconstructed, and this is a clay oven. I'm not sure if this is for cooking or for fabrication of stuff. Let's see if there's anything that says anything. I think it must be for cooking, but it looks like they've never actually used it. They do have a lot of firewood, and there's was one of those little geckos or lizards or whatever they are. The fort was built by the governor to protect the area against French Indians and other marauders. It looks like they were able to salvage one of the original fire posts, but they tried to make the fort as realistic as possible. You see these little portholes, the gun holes. They've got them covered up, so for the most part, the animals don't get in there, I guess. I don't know if they have, but the wood was, while it was milled in a real sawmill, it was adzed, chopped up with an adze so that it looks like it had been done originally. While Fort Dobbs was constructed to ward off attacks by French allied natives, it was only attacked once in its history, during the Anglo-Cherokee War on the night of February 27th, 1760. A party of Cherokee arrived at the fort. For several days, the garrison had seen Cherokee nearby. Alerted by the barking of dogs, a small party of the fort's garrison, indicated by the blue lines, advanced under the cover of night to where they thought Cherokee were located. After several hundred yards, the soldiers encountered a party of Cherokee near a spring, and after a brief firefight, the Cherokee pursued the soldiers back to the fort. At the same time, another party of Cherokee attacked the fort. The skirmish did not end local fighting during the war between former allies. 2 weeks later, a party of militia and soldiers were attacked at Moses Potts' house only a mile northwest of the fort. When I did this video, they were setting up for a special weekend event for military history of North Carolina. It was from the Revolutionary War all the way to modern day military activities. I'm standing next to the Visitor Center, which is a structure they built in the period of the Fort Dobbs. However, it's not a structure that would have been there. It's just the office and a little museum of a lot of the stuff they've found in archaeological digs.
This building is a replica or a rebuild of the fort that originally stood here about 264 years ago. It's named Fort Dobbs after the royal governor, Arthur Dobbs, that comes to North Carolina in 1754. So this is about 20 years before the American Revolution happened, before the United States of America is its own country. To become the new governor, there is a war that is starting here in North America between the English and between the French. The French also have colonies here in North America. Their colonies are kind of up in where Canada is and down through the Mississippi River down into Louisiana. The French are coming this way, the English are going to the west, and they're starting to meet in the middle in what's called the Ohio country. It is called the storeroom, the supply room of the fort. You got 50 soldiers living here. It's a lot of food, a lot of equipment. See these lead bars here will be melted down into musket balls like these. There will be tons of gunpowder stored here at the fort. Obviously, these are soldiers, so they're going to use weapons and need a lot of gunpowder. And there's actually, under the eastern half of the building, when we go in the next room over there was a cellar dug under that room. And there was a gunpowder magazine, a special room built to store the gunpowder down below the fort. Obviously, you don't want it.
Our tour guide was fantastic. He had all the knowledge of the fort, and he was explaining all the things to the kids. We had kids with us. A little Cub Scout troop was on the tour with me, and he gave detailed information about what was where. Took us to all these little spots. They showed the well was inside the fort, so they didn't have to worry about that. And these are the quarters for the soldiers. The enlisted men slept on their own beds. They had their own beds. There were 12 people in that room. And each barrack area had its own kitchen and cook area and dining room table and bedroom, and everything was there. Even the kids pointed out even a game room. Up above them on the second floor was the officers' quarters, which was a little more luxurious, had a little more taste to it. The plates were pewter and china versus what the men got. And over in the back there is the officers' office, which they wrote a lot of reports and sent letters to everybody and did a lot of work. In fact, one of the things of being an officer, of course, is to be able to read and write. The entire fort is set up just like if it was in operation. Is, you know, personal items and things like that. That was pretty interesting. There were dice on the tables and stuff. And it was a really great tour. I can't really recommend this highly enough. It's informative. It's a step back in history. It's a great tour and a great adventure with all the artifacts that they've got hanging all over the place. It's an antique shop in itself. But let's go outside, and they're going to do a demonstration.
So to load this, I'm going to put a little bit of gunpowder into this little pan right here, and then I'm going to close the pan, turn the gun around, put the rest of the gunpowder down the barrel, draw the ramrod out, throw the ramrod down, it's going to be ready to shoot. And when I go to shoot the gun, I'm going to cock it by pulling this hammer back and pull the trigger. That flint is going to get flung forward really fast, and it's going to scrape pieces of metal off of the steel, creating sparks that fall into the pan, setting off the gunpowder. And then there's a little tiny hole called a touch hole there, and the fire goes into the touch hole and ignites the powder in the pan, sending the bullet down range. But I'm not actually going to be shooting a bullet. The neighbors do not like that at all. So to load it, I've got cartridges in my cartridge box. See these little tubes of paper? No, you can't play with them.
No,
Sorry.
I know. I don't like it.
You're going to take it,
No.
bite the tip the end of the cartridge off, and we're going to go and pour a little bit of powder into the pan, shut the pan, turn the gun around, put the rest of the charge down the barrel.
Just stuff it.
Draw the ramrod out. Whoops. And we're ready to shoot.
Can you just shoot it at least into the forest or the country?
Well, I'm going to shoot it out that way. So the gun's ready to fire, and we're going to cock it, and I'm going to step forward just a little bit, and we present the gun and fire. You may want to cover your ears. Okay?
Oh! Whoa! That.
So that's how you fire a flintlock gun. You want one.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of Fort Dobbs. It's a real abbreviated version. You should come and visit the fort yourself if you're interested in colonial history, forts, and early Revolutionary War, pre-Revolutionary War activities in the colonies. It was a great tour, and I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Share, like, subscribe, all those things. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, folks.